elections, 8 major candidates running for governor of California in the 2026 election. 7 Democrats, 1 Republican. One name you don't see there is former Vice President and California resident Kamala Harris. Harris says she'll make a decision by the end of the summer, but some Democrats say she should pick up the pace in deciding. One of them is former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, who joins us now. Mr. Mayor, good to see you.
Alex, great to see you as always.
All right, the race is 2 years away. Why is it so important that she make a decision now? I mean, she's got 100% name ID. Can't she wait?
Actually, it's a year and 3 months from now.
Yeah.
The primary's in June. The runoff is in November, so the time is now. Look, what I've said, and I'll say it again, governor isn't a stepping stone to another position. This is the 5th largest economy in the world, the largest state, a state with great possibilities, but also many challenges. And so I think the time is now. This is not going to be a coronation. And I don't think we should have another 100-day campaign because we saw how that turned out.
Meaning she got into it late. But if you actually look at that race, her polling was best at the beginning of that race when she didn't say as much. The more interviews she did, you saw her poll numbers go down. So strategically, it might make more sense for her to wait.
Well, that's why I'm asking her to get in.
Because you want to win.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
No, and I think we should have that debate. Look, if running for governor is not a small thing, particularly in a state where many people think that we're moving in the wrong direction. Thinks more than
you think we are?
Yes,
yeah.
Without question. I think there's a sense that we're not safe enough. I think there's a sense and a belief that we're not doing enough with respect to housing. I used to say that homeownership was part of the American dream. Now for our kids, renting an apartment with 3 roommates is the dream. You know, the issue of education. You know, we're dead last in graduation in this state. I think people are looking for competence again in our government, and that's why I'm running. I'm running on a track record as a proven problem solver, as someone who's actually got the job done. Someone joked the other day, I remember you. You were mayor when the city was cleaner, safer, and a fraction of the homeless.
Yeah.
You know,
but that was a long time ago. That was 2013. There's still a lot of people that don't remember that. And,
absolutely.
And, there's a lot of people that remember her.
That's why I'm in.
She was just the Democratic nominee. She's incredibly famous. She probably can raise the most amount of money. She raised $1 billion for the presidential race. What's your lane to beat her?
The common sense lane. The getting things done lane, the competence lane. You know, whether I was speaker, when I got 2 budgets on time, when we had 42 and 48 votes, not the supermajority, working with both a Republican and a Democratic governor with the surplus, whether I was mayor. LA was one of the most dangerous big cities in America. By the time I left, it was 1950 safe, nearly a 50% drop in violent crime. Construction cranes in the middle of a recession all over downtown, the airport, built more infrastructure than virtually anyone in the country. #1 American city in reducing carbon emissions, #5 in the world. I was on the job, and I think people are looking for a governor on the job.
So you ran against Governor Newsom in 2018, obviously lost that race. What letter grade would you give him?
Oh, I'm not going to give him a letter grade. I'm not running against him.
How would you assess the job he's done? Well, let me ask the question this way. Kamala Harris got in a lot of trouble when she went on The View, and they said, what would you do differently than Joe Biden? And she didn't really have an answer. What would you do differently than Governor Newsom for people if you're in that job?
I'll tell you, if we ever have a pandemic again, I wouldn't have kept our kids out for 18 months. Longer than any other state. The Republicans opened up their schools about 6 months later. Most of the private schools and the Catholic schools in California did the same. I'll stand up for our kids. I'll stand up for the notion that we ought to make education our priority. So that's a difference between us. I actually tweeted on that when Jonathan Chait wrote an article criticizing California for keeping kids out too long. I said, open our schools now, and got 700,000 impressions. Yeah. So there are things that make us different, but I'm not giving them a letter grade. I'm not running against them. That was then. I'm running against 5 other candidates, and maybe 6. with Kamala. And while
Maybe 7 with Rick Caruso.
well, maybe let them all come in,
Yeah.
but get in.
Yeah.
Stop the fooling around with maybe, maybe not. I'm pretty clear that California needs a problem solver. They need someone who's going to drive down the competence lane, and that's what I'm running on.
Yeah, and you're running whether she runs or not, which is different from some of those other Democrats who say
Virtually
they're out.
all of them have said they'll be out if she comes in. I've said I look forward to sharing my vision and hers for what we should do for California's future.
Mayor Villaraigosa, great to see you. Thanks so much for coming in.
Alex.
And we welcome her. If she wants to come in and make some news here, too, we'd welcome a
Come
debate.
on the Alex Michelson show.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we just call it. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it.